Man is no fool to give what he cannot keep in order to save what he cannot lose, end quote. Like Jim Elliot and all true believers, Noah's actions on the outside showed that he truly believed what God had said in his heart on the inside. And the point is, a person who believes eternal things are more important than temporal, worldly things will act that way. You will be able to see in their lives, if they sincerely believe, a far greater urgency and emphasis on eternal things. Their lives won't be centered around careers and shopping and movies and sports and recreation and even personal and family pursuits. In fact, those things will become, in some degree, less and less desirable to the genuine believer in comparison to their relationship with God. Jesus Christ in Mark 8 said the same thing. Remember? He said, quote, "He who saves his life will lose it. But he who loses his life for my sake and that of the gospel will save it." Now be honest. Does that describe your Christianity? Or is it closer to the truth that, well, despite your church going and Bible study and Christian activity and service, your life is pretty comfortable and really not all that different from the average unbelieving person? You know, Jesus said things that separated true believers from false believers all of the time. For example, Jesus once said that he would pay his disciples back 100-fold if they used their resources for him. The problem is, I suppose, we don't lend our money to people we don't believe will pay us back. It really is a matter of faith, isn't it? Well, for Noah anyway, it was very clear that to believe and to obey God, it's not just a matter of walking an aisle or saying a prayer or making a few minor philosophy and lifestyle changes. Well, he realized that to obey God would impact virtually every decision in every aspect of his life from that point forward. And it was a big undertaking, not only because of the size of the work and the amount of time, resources, and money it cost. No, Noah's belief and obedience to God also came with a huge cost of being exposed to the public ridicule and the continued reproach of all of his neighbors for 120 years. Because there wasn't one single person among those he told that even believed Noah when he told them about a flood that would drown the world.
They've come for the ark. You're all mad! The animals too! They know they'll be safe once the rains come. What rain? It hasn't rained for years! Where's the rain? Where's the rain? Where's the rain? Where's the rain? It's coming. No! Cloud! So where's the rain? Where's the rain?
In fact, think about it. Here was this man who was undertaking an entire career, a life work, and spending every penny he had to save himself from a flood in a land that had never even seen rain before. Of course the people thought he was nuts. And the reason, ultimately, that Noah became a laughingstock to virtually the entire world wasn't so much that he believed, but that he acted on what he believed, because he truly believed it. You know, a lot of professing believers today don't experience much persecution. They seldom find themselves even being very different or unrelatable to their unbelieving friends and neighbors. Other than perhaps they might not drink as much or use as much foul language. But when Noah believed God, Scripture paints the picture of his faith very clearly. It says people thought he was insane because of how he spent his time and his money. They mocked him and laughed at his choices and his decisions constantly. For example, what do you think happened when Noah decided to start hiring workers to help him build this ark, to save him and all the animals from a flood in a world where it never even rained? There's no doubt they laughed at him. And we can suppose with equal certainty that those who did consent to work for pay did so while all the while mocking their employer's commitment to this imaginary cause of his, behind his back. And imagine the people walking by, seeing this huge boat being erected over 100 miles from the nearest body of water. What do you think their comments were?
Here he comes! Here he comes! Right! Once more with feeling, everybody laugh!
You know what the bottom line of Noah's faith was? The bottom line was, Noah's faith was real because he acted on it, no matter what the cost. Even something like severe persecution or ridicule didn't sway Noah from obeying God, exactly as God commanded him to obey. Most men aren't so quick to go against the flow. We don't like things, even as Christians, that will make us feel embarrassed or different from our peers. But true faith stands out, and it's often ridiculed. I'm not talking about taking a little heat for calling ourselves Christians, or carrying a Bible to work, or putting a fish symbol on our car, because a lot of even those types of things are widely accepted. And you know, as long as we have at least some people in our corner, it's relatively easy for us to bear up under the reproach of our neighbors, isn't it? For example, it's not really all that hard to be insulted by an unbeliever about having Christian beliefs and values. Something like that can be written off to a difference of personal conviction or personal opinion. Because when a person who doesn't even believe in the Bible doesn't share our same values, it's not very surprising that they might mock what they don't understand. So that really doesn't hurt all that much, especially if we have friends and peers who are Christians and who do agree with us. But the real test comes when we have to take a path that God has called us to by ourselves. For a man to go on in a set-apart way that makes him the laughingstock of the entire world, and where you can't find anyone except people that think you're nuts, even friends and family and other professing cultural Christians, now that becomes a true test of faith. Where is the man or woman today that can stand that kind of heat? The kind of heat that Noah endured for even 20 years, much less the 120 that Noah endured. Where are the Christians that follow the commands of God down to the letter, even when other Christians mock them or call them extremists or legalists? Who today is even trying to live as Noah did when it was said about him that, quote, as God commanded, so did he, end quote? Especially when strict obedience will make us stand out as odd or extreme. Well, it was that exact kind of set-apart, get-ridiculed by the world experience that Noah, at God's direction, engaged in and went through. And he did it so that he and his family might be saved from the destruction that was about to come upon the entire world. In other words, in plain language, he believed God. And so, he obeyed God. That perhaps is the lesson that rings loudest and clearest about Noah's life. Through all the tests, and through all the difficulties, and through all the mockings that being that committed and obedient brought, that awe-inspiring statement in Genesis chapter 6, verse 22, could be said about Noah, from beginning to end. Scripture records, quote, so thus did Noah, according to all that God commanded, so did he, end quote.